The top-down and bottom-up approach. The terms top-down and bottom-up are used in several different contexts and are applied to many different designs, theories, and processing skills of various fields. In the context of teaching and literacy, the top-down and bottom-up approach refers to the way in which people process language in literature and audio resources. Top-down is when the information is processed from the bigger picture first and then revised to see the finer details. Bottom-up is when information is processed from the finer details to the bigger picture. For example, one person may briefly skim over an article and realize that it is about the construction of a new building, and then go back and read the details about where it is being built, when will it be done, and who the architect may be. Those would be the finer details. This would be the top-down approach. Another person may read through the article very thoroughly the first round and take in all the finer details of the article, and then processing all of those fine details to see the bigger picture. This would be the bottom-up approach. These two approaches of information comprehension can be used as teaching strategies for reading or listening. By using these approaches regularly with students, it will teach them to use these strategies when having difficulty with reading and listening comprehension. Hopefully, it will provide them with learning strategies to understand readings and listenings independently. As a second language instructor, I would use both the top-down and the bottom-up approach regularly with my students when working through reading and listening comprehension of the target language. Bottom-up. I would start with the bottom-up approach when first trying to read through a text in the target language with students. When learning a second language learners can easily be intimidated by text in a foreign language and can start to doubt their skills and proficiency in the language. I would get students to go through the text with different color highlighters. They would highlight words they already know. One color of highlighter would be used to highlight words they know, another color for words that look like words in their native language, and another color for words that share the same roots, familial words. I have seen this activity being done before, and in the end, a lot of the text ends up being highlighted. I would get the students to read through the text again and see how much of it they really understand after realizing how many words they can recognize through semantic cues based on their background knowledge. We would then read the text as a whole class and review it to be sure that everyone is comprehending the text. Top-down. As students become more familiar with the target language and gain confidence in their reading abilities in the target language, I would get students to briefly read over the text individually. Once they are done reading, I would then get the students to refocus on the finer details of the text by starting a whole class discussion to see how much they can comprehend and whether they understood the main ideas of the text. I would start by asking them basic questions such as, what was it about? I would then ask them to elaborate on how they deduced that information. I would ask things like, who was in the text? What were they doing? Why they were doing that? And so on. I would get the students to explain what semantic cues help them out of their knowledge on vocabulary and their background knowledge, and what syntactic cues may have helped them to better comprehend the text. Can it be used for other subject areas? This image is a good depiction of how language teachers could break down a text for their students in a foreign language. Whether a teacher starts from big to small or the reverse, with both approaches, students are learning how to gain information from text and learning the nuances, such as vocabulary, grammar, and culture behind the target language. Top-down and bottom-up are both useful approaches for language comprehension strategies. I would use these teaching strategies in a French or Spanish class. However, they could be used to teach ELL to help them with information comprehension in any other subject matter. For example, in a science class, it would be used to help an ELL student to break down and understand the textbook. A teacher could start by teaching the student the specific vocabulary of a unit, finer details, and then gradually build up the context around the new terminology so the student understands how it fits into the whole unit. Or, a teacher could teach the student about the unit material in general, and as they go through show how the smaller parts, such as the terminology, fits into the context of the unit. Thank you for watching.